what are some concepts in the pickup community that people get completely fucking wrong? So for example, DHV, shit tests, whatever your opinion is.
So yeah, okay, I start. Like, so a lot of things people get it wrong. One of the biggest thing I see the problem, this is like people don't understand how the game works properly, and this direct game thing, and they say like the even like majority of dating coaches think in a way that like for themselves how it should look. So when I see that game, uh, when you say like how I explain it, like a direct game. This is the concept, like, go to the girl and say you are cute or you are attractive or something, and then she will say to you yes or no. In this way, you are authentic. You are authentic, and then you are true. You are honest. You will get her answer, and that's it. And she will say yes or no, and this is should be your game. But the game is about if the girl is rejecting you, then you go for the another girl. But the concept of game is also like how efficiently we can get the result. Also, if there is a problem, if we can solve this problem, and can we able to find another way to solve it. So what I teach guys, what I tell guys to maximize the face time when they're talking to the girl. It is not about how they approach, how they open. They have to start talking to the girl, get the maximum face time, because more the face time, more the conversation is going, more it is more they have chances to 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 give the right emotion to the girl, which is required by her to get attracted to that student or that guy. And that is, for that we require the time. And if we have a short time in the direct game, we just go yes or no. It is very short time, and that's why this concept of this going out and say what you want from the girl and answer based, like, she will say yes or no or whatever, and then play the game. So this is concept need to be changed. People need to understand it is not about like just say what you really feel about like, you direct game or something like that. Focus on having a conversation. It is not about like indirect, direct, neutral, whatever, situational. And during that conversation, have the set the right emotion to the girl that makes the girl to find that person attractive. Yeah. So this is the first concept people need to correct in game, and other dating coaches need to correct. Yeah.
I'll go next.
There, yep.
So most of the stuff that you mentioned, that's like old school pickup, right? It's like mystery method era. So I'll say one thing. I do think a lot of this is very overly complicated for most beginners because when you have all these concepts in your head, you're just not present when talking to girls. Also, mystery, I got to give him credit. He was kind of like the father of pickup and dating, whatever, the POA community. He's a very insecure man, right? So he has a lot of inner game issues. And that's why he built a lot of sort of DHV shit tests. He's kind of like bypassing his sort of inner game, right? So I think guys that follow hardcore mystery method, they tend to just take forever to get results. Some of these new guys, you take them out, like, back in the day, like if you read the game, it took guys like a year to finally make shit happen. Right now, it's like you go on a boot camp and guys are getting results left and right. So I think a lot of this is just overcomplicating. And also the thing with dating advice is like nothing's ever completely wrong or completely right. It just depends. It's very nuanced, right? Two people can say the exact same thing. One guy will make a girl laugh and the other guy will like get the girl to call the police. So I would say the most important thing is just like don't learn dating in a vacuum. Like one of the things that helped me a lot was, back then when I had a YouTube channel, I would interact with girls and I'd put it on the internet and I would give feedback, right? And it's so like obvious, like that you shouldn't be learning dating in a like a contained chamber, right? It's a social thing. You should be getting out there. But yet so many people are just purely relying on Reddit for dating advice. And so basically what happens is you kind of go off on your own tangent. Like you overvalue certain advice over other advice, and you don't have other people to steer you in a more like grounded direction. And I think it's also really important to hang out with guys that are good with women that aren't in the pickup industry. There's a lot of guys that are really good with women that never read any of these like books, right? There's naturals. There's guys that are in the club promoter industry. There's guys in the fitness industry. There's musicians. There's artists. All of these archetypes are good with women. So it's very important to like get balanced perspective from different elements. I think that's what helped me become well-rounded instead of just hanging out with a bunch of pickup dudes forever, right? Like if you look at Justin, he's got promoter friends. He's got wealthy 60-year-old dudes with yachts. He's got, and they all have different elements where like they have different advice and it just makes you more, like I said, more rounded.
The thing is like, like not everyone have the luxury of getting these kind of circle, but the dating should be definitely like easier for guys to get laid. Why we need to have like these kind of circle or something. Sometimes I think like that, why we need to work hard that much in building that kind of social circle to get laid. So I will say like when it comes to DHV part that I want to discuss, like DHV part is something like it is, you can say it is a lie or it's a true DHV or it is you are just faking it. So if you are congruently doing it, it can work out. So sometimes, for example, the guy whose name is imagine like there is a guy named Ashish who has a hardcore Indian accent who is coming fresh off the boat from Mumbai, and he want to now learn game, and he we changed the name from Ashish to Andrew. So in one way to I'm not saying in that way like he has to ashamed of his identity, but we have to do some adaptation and for the Western culture, and it looks not that like weird. So something like this, or a DHV in a way that I know that mystery DHVs that some guys did, and why it didn't work out because the guys were not congruent, and they were like some virgin guy saying that oh, I met this stripper girlfriend and this and that, and it failed completely. But in some way what I have seen, if for example a guy who is a imagine a guy who I was working with a student who was a nurse in some as a nurse, and then he was, now we are gaming in New York, and then I said like, can't you just say you are a doctor in NYU hospital? And then, oh, I want to be authentic, oh, this. I say, okay, I am giving you an option, just say that you are a doctor, and or if you or you can say like you're a nurse. So then he met a girl, she was aeronautical engineer, and then it just, I gave him the hint, and then he said that he is a doctor at NYU, and he talk about this thing, and then he banged this girl
I don't
in
think
New
you should
York.
talk
But it's not about banging. Once again, Deepak,
No, no,
it's
no, no,
not
no,
about
no.
just getting
So
laid,
you,
man.
yeah. But again,
you
like
have a bank
after
counter.
banging, the thing started. You cannot
Yeah,
get
but you started a
girlfriend.
relationship
I don't
based
think
off
Yeah,
you
of
should
you,
that.
talk.
but yeah, again, you cannot get a girlfriend without banging. So if that things, we can solve that things also later.
But the
But
thing
if
is,
he
like,
is
maybe she
not,
would have banged him if he was a nurse still. Like, whenever I was making no money, making like 40K a year in my early 20s, I still
yeah,
got girls who still like me,
like
I
right?
don't think you should tell girls you're a doctor if you're not. That's just like
Right.
straight
Exactly.
lying.
That's exception right there.
no, I think like
Also,
this
like
much I have, for example, like
you're not
listen,
gonna
like
get high
there
quality.
are ways to deal
You're
with the
not gonna.
situation. There, if you have a good game, you can deal. I have done it. I mean, should I say or not say? But for example, this is something I have seen and I have done it. So it is about like projecting the right emotions at the right time. When I say, so I have I'm 46, yeah. So my girlfriend is way younger than me, and I said something about my age, and then I forget, and then she said, "You must be like 36 now because your birthday." I said, "Did I said?" And somehow, and then so I just said it like,
Yeah,
listen, like
maybe age is like
whatever. Listen, let me finish. So I said like, listen, I know what I said, but at that time maybe I lied, but right now the emotions I have, right now the love, the emotion is real. That is the most important thing what we have between you and me. And then she just forget about it, and it is still going on. So it is about how you deal with the situation. First you have to get the things done, and then you can deal with the situation. And like, this is how I see in the geopolitics, the big countries, they all do the same thing. Nobody is authentic. When you say the country where you are living, that is not even authentic. So why, so learn from that, so live examples what you see in the world. Why not? It need to be just authentic. It just to need to be congruent. That's it.
well, it's not congruent because you're not a doctor.
Huh?
It's not a congruent. You're not a doctor. I do
Yeah,
think that
but if the girl
ultimately,
is seeing that, is seeing that, but he's not saying he's a DJ. So
yeah,
he
what
can
if
put
she,
the
what if she's
injection,
like,
he can do the
okay, what if,
CPR, he can do the CPR, he can do this thing. I'm not saying just to make him convert into a CEO of XYZ company. I'm just saying he's a nurse. Just make him a doctor and get the things done. He can do CPR,
that's
he
not
can
how it's
talk
done.
about injections and all the stuff.
yeah,
The
what if
truth
she's like,
is,
okay,
like,
are you a radiologist? Or are you an internal medicine? Or are you a cardiologist? You do stenting? Then what are you gonna say?
No, he's a general doctor.
but like,
Okay, well,
why would you lie though? That's the
doing a
thing.
residency, what are you gonna say? Like, dude, you're gonna be a shit ton of
A lot of
lies.
women are gonna dislike him for him being a nurse. You know, if they see
Yeah,
potential, maybe he'll be a doctor later.
Student's gonna be the guy that's gonna get maybe a few first lays with a bunch of drunk girls,
I mean,
but
he's having a
not gonna have
girlfriend
the
and he's living
capacity for like,
he's been living the life at the end, like, who is able to solve his problem, and he is living, and he break the record actually for the boot camp, and uh, so at the end, like, results matter. So he is happy. He is like having a girlfriend. He's enjoying his life. One or two times maybe it didn't work out, but overall the what I teach him, it worked out for him. Maybe like out of 10 girls, maybe two times it didn't work out, but there are many situations it worked out, and we just score when focus on the success. At the end, you want a one girlfriend with whom you want to spend majority of your time, or maybe like 2 3 4 years. When you're going for long term, that only matters at the end.
Okay, let's continue on pickup community mistakes. Ison and Justin.
Well, the truth is, I'm not really into the pickup community that much. I haven't read all the books. The only book I've read was the game. There's another one actually that I read. It's like the sequel to the game. It's like Rules of the Game, right? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Venetian
And
Arts.
so I'm not really sure what DHV means exactly right now, but what I know is that I have to agree with, one thing that really stood out when Mike was saying they forget to be in the present. It's all about being in the present. A lot of times we think about things to say before we even say it. We have all these questions in our heads. We're like, oh wait, I gotta ask her what she likes, favorite color, if she likes food, what kind of food she likes, traveling, and then you're not listening to the person talking. A lot of times you could get so much out of just listening and piggyback off of her response than just thinking about what's ahead. And a lot of engineers that I coach think ahead or think in the past, think about the regrets they made or things that they've done that were not good, and think about the future, all the fears and tribulations that they could have, but they're not in the present. And one thing that I tell people is express how you feel, meaning that if you see a girl on a date with you and she's a little bit nervous or a little bit, keeping to herself, just ask her, hey, is everything okay? You seem a little nervous. And most of the time, they don't even realize that they're being nervous. Maybe they had a long day at work. They're like, oh, yeah, like, you know what? I just had a long day at work. Now you're caring. You're talking to her, communicating. Hey, is this place too loud? If you want, we can go somewhere more quiet, right? Things like that. A lot of times I can't read body language that well. So I ask, like, hey, are you having fun tonight? They're like, yeah, yeah. But And then I say, you don't look like you're having fun. They're like, yeah, I just want to dance more. You want to dance with me? I'm like, hell yeah. Now we're dancing. That's all
I
I
like
know.
that. Cool, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, to answer the question of what I think, the pickup community does wrong, I think a lot of guys actually build an identity of being a pickup artist instead of just being a person who's learning or being influenced positively from the information they learn from the community. But you really gotta have a well-rounded personality. Like you can't just be the guy who's just doing pickup all the time. You have to go to the gym, learn different skills that are complementary to learning pickup. So you don't want to just be the guy who's doing like 8 hours a day of day game and you're not even getting results. And you're not really doing anything with your life. You want to be actually taking these skills that you're learning and actually applying them to different areas of your life. So maybe you're in university and instead of just being the pickup guy on your college campus, you're using these principles to create a social circle, right? Or, maybe you have different social groups that you're part of and you're using those skills to further your influence, right? So that's a major thing. I think a lot of people make a mistake in the pickup community. One thing I also think a lot of people make a mistake on is just working on their outer game, their techniques, and not really working on the inner game, their inner core. So like doing things that actually grow your self-esteem and make you a stronger version of yourself, right? I think it's super, super important. So things like, martial arts or like meditation, fitness, travel is a really big thing. I found, that helps guys improve their personality and improve their character, right? So actually working on what's inside, right? Because you can learn every single fucking technique, in the book, but it's like, well, how do you actually apply that, if internally you're a little bitch, right? When circumstances present themselves, you have to actually be able to handle the social situations that come up, right? So actually working on your inner game, I think, is extremely, extremely important. Working on your outer game is extremely important as well. But I think a lot of guys, only work on their outer game. They don't work on their inner game. I've also seen a lot of guys that only work on their inner game, don't work on their outer game. So you kind of got to do both. I think it's really, really important as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, I agree with
All right,
Justin.
next.
A lot-
Go ahead.
They get too zoomed in on one thing, right? They find a little bit of success in one thing when it comes to meeting girls, and then that's all they do, right? Like they start out doing day game, and then 10 years later, they're still wearing a backpack, like harassing women at a campus. It's like, bro, you're a doctor. What are you what are you doing with a backpack on? Like, can we try to innovate other ways to meet girls, right? Or like people refuse to use Instagram. I'm like, dude, girls are on Instagram like 3 or 4 hours a day. Let's incorporate different skill sets. So I think just like not being stuck on doing one thing.
Perfect. Nice.